Capricorn's crushing judgment. A Capricorn's judgment is like standing trial in a courtroom where they are judge, jury, and executioner. They don't shout or rage. They dismantle you with calm precision, leaving no flaw unnoticed and no mistake unpunished. Their criticism isn't just an opinion, it's a declaration of your shortcomings, presented with the kind of detachment that makes their words cut even deeper. When a Capricorn casts their verdict on you, it's not something you can shake off. They don't aim for surface-level critiques. They go straight for the core of who you are. They'll point out your lack of discipline, your poor choices, or your perceived weaknesses. And they'll do it in such a way that it feels like an irrefutable truth. Their critiques come across as facts, not opinions, and arguing with them feels as pointless as trying to argue with gravity. Capricorns pride themselves on being realists, and they have no patience for what they consider to be excuses. To them, there's no such thing as bad luck or unfortunate circumstances. There's only effort and results. If you haven't achieved what they think you should, they'll make it clear that, in their eyes, it's entirely your fault. They won't coddle you or sugarcoat their words. They'll tell you exactly what they think you need to hear, no matter how harsh it sounds. Capricorns don't see their criticism as brutal. They see it as necessary. In their minds, they're helping you by pointing out the areas where you need to improve. They believe that the only way to grow is by confronting the hard truths, and they have no problem being the one to deliver those truths. But while they might see their honesty as a gift, it often feels more like an attack. Their criticism isn't limited to one area of your life. It's all-encompassing. They'll comment on your work ethic, your habits, your relationships, and even your personality traits. If you're lazy, they'll say it. If you're too emotional, they'll point it out. If you lack ambition, they'll question your life choices. And they won't just tell you what's wrong. They'll offer unsolicited advice on how to fix it, whether you want to hear it or not. Capricorns have a knack for delivering their criticism with an air of superiority that makes it even harder to swallow. They truly believe they know better, and they won't hesitate to let you know it. Their tone can be condescending, and their words can feel more like a lecture than a conversation. They don't just want you to acknowledge their point of view, they want you to accept it as the ultimate truth. One of the most infuriating aspects of a Capricorn's judgment is their tendency to hold others to impossibly high standards while giving themselves a free pass. They'll pick apart your flaws and mistakes, but when it comes to their own shortcomings, they're remarkably blind. In their eyes, their perfectionism and relentless drive excuse any missteps they might make. This hypocrisy often goes unnoticed by the Capricorn themselves. They see their criticism as constructive, and their high standards as a sign of their own discipline and success. But to those on the receiving end, it feels unfair and hypocritical. How can someone who is so quick to judge others be so unwilling to examine their own flaws? Capricorns don't need to raise their voices to make you feel small. Their disapproval is often quiet but deeply cutting. A single disappointed glance or a subtly critical comment can leave you questioning yourself for days. They have a way of making you feel like you've failed not just them but some unspoken, universal standard of excellence. Their ability to convey disappointment without saying much is one of their most powerful tools. It's not what they say, it's how they say it. Their tone, their body language, and their choice of words all work together to deliver a message that hits harder than any outright insult ever could. To a Capricorn, mediocrity isn't acceptable. They hold themselves to incredibly high standards, and they expect the same from everyone around them. If you don't meet their expectations, they'll make it clear. They won't yell or make a scene, but their criticism will cut just as deep. Their standards aren't just high, they're often unattainable. Capricorns believe in constant improvement, and they're never satisfied with good enough. This relentless drive for perfection can be inspiring, but it can also be exhausting for those who are close to them. If you're in their orbit, you'll constantly feel like you're being measured and found lacking. Capricorns might pride themselves on their ability to stay detached and objective, but their lack of empathy can make their judgment feel cruel. They don't see the emotional impact of their words. They see only the truth they're trying to convey. To them, the ends justify the means, even if the means leave you feeling broken. Their criticism doesn't just affect your actions, it gets inside your head. You'll find yourself replaying their words over and over, questioning your choices and doubting your abilities. Their judgment doesn't just hurt, it lingers, becoming a constant voice in the back of your mind. At the core of Capricorn's judgment is their need for control. They believe in order, discipline, and structure, and they have little tolerance for anything that disrupts that. When they judge you, it's not just about pointing out your flaws, it's about trying to mold you into their ideal version. This need for control can make their criticism feel suffocating. They don't just want you to do better, they want you to do things their way. And if you resist, they'll double down, using logic, reason, and their unshakable sense of authority to wear you down. Capricorns don't see themselves as harsh, they see themselves as realists. They might think they're helping you by pointing out your flaws, but more often than not, their words leave you feeling defeated and devalued.